So I recently got some super helpful advice from some industry experts, people who hire photographers. And we're not just talking about like any Joe Schmo, we're talking about some pretty heavy hitters in the industry. And so I wanted to share with you their insights for what your website and your online portfolio needs to look like. What are things it needs to have in order to help improve your chances of getting hired? What's shakin' bacon? I'm Joni Simon. Welcome to my studio. This is where I do food photography, and the goal here is to improve your food photography skills so you can feel confident behind the camera. And like I mentioned, I recently attended the Palm Springs Photo Festival. Well worth the investment of time and money to attend this. I got so much great insight that I'm so excited to share with you guys here. But one of the best sessions that I attended where I felt like, hey, you know, the Bite Shot audience really needs to hear some of these things. This particular session was a panel discussion. There were 4 industry experts. There was an art buyer, an art director, photo editor for Time Magazine. Like I said, these were some heavy hitters, an agency representative, and they had some amazing insights specifically on the topic of your online portfolio and what are the things it needs to have, how does it need to look, and how is it going to make it easier for them to hire you. This is something that everybody mentioned to make sure you have a quickly fast loading site, that it doesn't take a while for the images to populate and the format to come into place, that it's like in an instant, because they don't have a lot of time to sit and wait for images to load. So if you have a slow site, they're gonna kind of peace out and move on to the next photographer. Do not make this a complicated format. Do not turn this into a science project. Literally, they just want to be able to see a gallery of images in kind of largish thumbnail size so that you can get a sense of what the images look like, but then a quick opportunity to expand and see the larger version of a given image. Now, one place that I think does do a really great job of some really clean and simple, beautiful portfolio layouts is Format. This is not sponsored by them. I just recently came across them and I really like their designs, and I actually did personally move my portfolio all over to Format because it's quickly loading, very clean look on the website, but a lot of photographers who I follow and who I enjoy all seem to use Format. So obviously you'll have your online galleries and the images, which will, hopefully your work will speak for itself. But then they said it's really helpful to just have a little bit about the person, about the photographer, because here's the reality. They want to hire somebody that they want to hang out with then for an 8-10 hour shoot, that they don't want this person to be a stick in the mud, right? So just getting a sense of who you are, what makes you unique, and you can even talk about things, you know, like some personal things. Now, I mean, don't get like super personal, but you know, like if you have a particular hobby outside of photography, or, you know, like for example, I mentioned that I have a husband and 2 little boys and we live on this little ranchito in Phoenix, Arizona, things that just make you a bit more relatable and more human. And they also all agreed that you should have a picture of your face. Now, I know that so many photographers are like, no, I'm behind the camera, I don't get in front of the camera, but making sure to just have a nice solid headshot or some sort of image that just shows your face and your personality is gonna really help to set you apart and make them remember you. So the idea is that they end up on your website because theoretically you've sent it to them and you've promoted yourself. And so they end up on the website, they check out the galleries and check out the images. If they like what they see, then they'll hop over to the About Me page and read about you. And then from there, they want to be able to check out your Instagram account. They're not as worried about LinkedIn or Facebook or all those other things. So they want to see your Instagram. So if you have a centrally located link to Instagram, you know, at the header or on the sidebar, somewhere central, that then they can quickly go over and check you out. But now before you start worrying and being like, well, but I don't have a lot of followers and I don't have a perfectly curated Instagram feed, that's not what they're looking for. Like we specifically asked, you know, do you need to have the curated feed that's everything's in the same color palette, or it's, you know, all bright and airy or all dark and moody, like a signature style? And they're like, no, that's not really what we're looking for. What they're mostly concerned about is, you know, certainly seeing some of your work in the feed and kind of getting a sense of what you're currently working on, but also getting a sense of you. And this was, again, just kind of that theme of they want to work with somebody that they're going to enjoy spending time with. And so by casing your Instagram account, they're just getting a better sense of you. And it was so surprising that they brought this up because to me it's kind of a no-brainer, but apparently they run into a lot of photographers' websites where it's not clear how to get in touch. And so they said, yeah, you can certainly have the form if you want to have us fill out a form, but forms don't always work. They don't always trust forms. Forms can be a little bit more laborious. And so they said making sure to very clearly list your email address and, if you're comfortable with it, your phone number. Now, at the same time, understand not everybody's comfortable with that, and privacy being what it is these days. Of course, you could set up a Google number and put that there so it's not your actual phone number. Regardless, make it explicitly clear how to get a hold of you so that they can then book you. Now, obviously, I learned a ton at this photography festival, so I will continue to share some of my insights of things I learned. And so if you want to make sure not to miss out on those things, I have got a link down below that you can get on my insider email list, and I will be sure to update you when I've got new videos, new resources, new things to share. And so with that, you stay out of trouble. I'll see you soon, all right? Bye.